And a big hello to all of our influencers today, and welcome to this Spotlight series today. Uh, as all of you know, we do the Spotlight so that people get to know each other. With almost 575 members on the page, we don't have a chance to get to know each other. I don't care how many times you comment or you post or you say whatever, you don't really know the person. So that's what Spotlight's all about. And I know that after having done almost 150 Spotlight series, that it is a lot of people take a look at it. And I hope you will take a close look at this one because oftentimes it leads to other things. Maybe that you can benefit from their services. All kinds of things can happen because it's a way to network with some really, really intelligent people. Today is a definite no exception. I have Jared Barto on today, and Jared is a market disruptor. So get ready for something that you've heard before, and get your pen and paper out because I think you're going to be absolutely amazed at what Jared has to say. So let's welcome Jared to Spotlight. Jared, welcome to
Oh,
Spotlight today.
thank you, Christopher. Much appreciated. This is, as we were just talking about, I'm really excited to throw everything into the mix and kind of like do one of those like infomercials, like take everything you know about blankets and forget it. Like it's gonna be take everything you know about marketing and forget it because we're gonna talk about a few things. But no, I definitely appreciate being here. I really do.
Okay, you're gonna be Mr. Pillow. Is that what you're gonna do?
What's that? I'm gonna talk about the pillow back here.
Oh, you know the guy on television.
Oh yeah, the Misty, yeah, Mr. Pillow. I could do that if you want me to throw in some. But wait, there's more. I'll
Yeah.
totally do that. I'll totally do it.
All right, Jared. Please, it's all the space is all yours. I'll get out of the way.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Christopher, before you go, is there anything that you need me to look at? Are we for like comments or anything coming in that you want me to pay attention to, or you just want to jump those in if there's any questions coming in? Because I'll take them as they come when we get to
Yeah,
it.
I'll do that from this side.
Perfect, love it. Okay, so a little bit about me. As I was talking with Christopher before I got started, I started in the business analysis world, and really what that means is I got to work with a lot of senior VPs, a lot of lines of business that would make $1 million decisions on a daily basis for companies that they worked for. And my role was to make sure that whatever they needed to get done was going to be documented so all these other teams could do it. So after doing that for a while, I'm really enjoying it. The only thing I didn't like was the time. It was like 50, 60-hour work weeks, growing family of 5 children. It was really hard to get up at like 6 in the morning, try to get to the gym, go to work, then have to drive for like 45 minutes to an hour, then be there for like 8 to 10 hours, then drive another hour back, try to make time for everybody and give individual time to all the children. And by like, I don't know, 12 o'clock at night, I'm like, okay, I finally got time for me. I was just ready to pass out. So as much as I enjoyed the work, I didn't enjoy the time. So I decided there's got to be something that I can do. And I started picking up some more side work of being online again. I started playing around in online around like 2001. And that was like when all you could use was Netscape Navigator. So all the old hats in the world, I know what you're talking about. I know you're at Netscape Navigator somehow is Safari or whatever. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, so I did all these things back and forth, just never really consistently did it until it was around December of 2018. I'm like, I really want to get back into the online world. So I'm gonna make my jump, get into affiliate marketing again, do some digital marketing, take this business analysis world and bring it into the online space. Because the biggest thing that I noticed is that there was a lot of people getting a lot of misinformation and not being treated properly. So it's one of those things where in sales that you could do face to face that that you can't do face to face that you do online. You don't always like ghost people on a meeting face to face. You usually answer the phone calls. You usually do those things that you covered. But in the online space, there's been this whole like dichotomy feel. You just kind of do whatever you want, and there's no repercussions. Well, I wasn't okay with that as an empathetic person because I could feel people out there. I could feel that something wasn't right. So in doing some research and figure out what's going on, I figured, you know what? I'm going to come in here. And I told Christopher before we got started, I'm totally going to disrupt things. I'm really going to shake things up on its end. I'm going to get a lot of people that may not be happy with me. But I also know that if I speak out, it may give enough courage to others to maybe pursue what they want to do and maybe give it a chance to that. So I started a company, Funnel Fixer Upper, and it really started as just a sales funnel review company. The main bread and butter is that we would talk with you on a quick strategy session. We'd look over your website. We would see, okay, here's some things that we would fix. This is what I would do. If they wanted an in-depth review, we'd record it, we document all that kind of stuff. Again, taking my business analysis experience, creating like gaps analysis. We would do use case scenarios, user stories, vendor assessments. I just taught on that not too long ago. And it's all these things that most entrepreneurs, business owners online are forgetting to do because, again, it's so fast. Like everything's so quick that if you don't do something right away, you're going to kind of feel like it's gone. It's kind of missing. So we did that. And then I started to realize that I can get into something bigger. And a lot of people say, Jared, I'd love to work with you. Do you have any education that we can look on? So I'm like, all right, well, let's branch into the education realm and really, really upset a lot of people. And I'm going to call out by not names, but say you're going to hear a lot of gurus out there that are saying it's 3 clicks and everything's done. And I got to be honest with you guys, digital marketing is not just 3 clicks and you're done. There is a lot of heavy lifting that goes on in the background. There's a lot of software connection pieces that need to take place that even if you're just clicking and clicking and you have no experience, it's overwhelming and it's frustrating. And again, saw another gap into that. So all we're really doing at this point, and I feel like I just tangent forever, but what the focus is of what we're doing in my company now is really just looking at what needs to change and how we're going to adapt to move with it. So I'm a tech coach for a couple of online companies. I take on these contracts where I will go in and I'll offer support. I'll do on those areas. And then again, on our side, we end up building education platforms to provide the bare necessities, sales psychology, customer or client acquisition, customer retention, referrals, having that communication 101, like how to talk to people online and actually have tone in there. So it's not just like randomly typing and all that kind of stuff. So Christopher said, hey, let's talk. Let's get you on here. This will be fun. I'm like, great. I had some like big plans of things I was going to talk about and where I wanted to go. But the way that I like to do a lot of these is I like to keep them at a very open space of whatever's going to happen, we're going to talk about. Whatever's going to be pressing is what we're going to talk about. So what I kind of prepared today was just to have that discussion of questions that might come in of where it goes, because I have a lot of things I can talk about. One of my colleagues had said, listen, you know a lot of things about a lot of things. And I'm like, I don't want that. I kind of want to be a master at a few. So I decided to master sales funnels. We do marketing. We do a lot of marketing techniques. I could take a lot of time and talk just about marketing strategies, about what you can do inside of Facebook, what you can do inside of marketing with Pinterest, what you could do inside of even Snapchat, TikTok, getting into like a marketing side of the world. Just all depends on where everybody wants to go. So Christopher, I can go wherever you want me to go. I can go for as long as you need me to go. Where do you want me to take this this piece next?
Yeah, let's use some hypotheticals. How about that? All right.
Sure.
Let's say that I've been in the marketing space for 3 years.
Okay.
And I have learned that I can offer, services for Facebook ads and for I can build some funnels and I can do some basic stuff because I bought some great programs, many of which are collecting dust on my hard drive, but I just don't have any traction. How do I get traction? I'm stuck in the mud. How do I get traction?
All right. Awesome. See, I love these. These are great scenarios. So typically what will end up occurring in that moment, which I've actually had people talk with me. I have a few clients I'm actually working with right now. There's going to be a few steps that we're going to have to milestone. So the very first thing is if there's a lot of courses that are stuck in a hard drive, a lot of memberships you have access to, it's typically going to be course fatigue. And that's something that I expected was going to occur. That's something that is going to continue to occur. Because again, all we're being taught is make this program. People buy this program, they'll make money. And the problem is it's not just buy the program, buy the course and make the money. It's about the implementation. And a lot of people don't really want to talk about that. So here's what I would do at this point. Got a lot of marketing experience. I'm also going to speak from pleasant experience of doing it myself here. You got to be willing to put some money out there and lose it. And what I mean by putting some money out there and losing it is getting into the actual marketing space, but not just throwing things out there and trying to figure out what it is. So I developed an idea of a great way to start off with, obviously having your levels of prospects, your level of leads and all that. If there's programs that I have the ability to resale, then I will put those together and not make like a membership site or anything like that yet. Just keep them there, get an idea of what the level is there. If I can't resell those, I'm going to go out to a website that's going to be a lot like a private label rights, master resale, whatever I can do. and just look around on Facebook, look around on Pinterest, look around on LinkedIn of what people are talking about, what they're actually looking for. And a lot of what people are looking for is good lead generation tactics and which system they want to go on. So at that point, I would probably look at how am I going to get some traction on that? What am I going to pick there? And if I don't have any money, I'm going to ask to borrow like $7 or $8. And most of these like private label ones are about $7, $8 that you can resale for anywhere from like $37 to $97, because it's not just the program, it's being able to talk about the dream of what can happen when you implement whatever this program is. So there's one that I have that's it's called Lead Generation Authority. And it's not just the fact that it's the program, it's the fact that it talks about the biggest differences between cold prospects and warm prospects, cold leads and warm leads, customers who just buy and customers who are here for life. And there's a huge distinction between the two. Now, I'm not going to answer for you, Christopher, but I'm pretty sure that if I were to say to somebody, listen, I can get you access to this, it's really not going to cost you much at all. And it's going to give you the basic breakdown of a foundation of what it's going to take to get the right people to buy whatever product it is. You might be interested to figure out what that's about. So if I start talking about this and start thinking in my head, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. My marketing strategy on Facebook, because most people are on Facebook right now, and in that space, anything like a low ticket that's less than $400 or less, you can hit them with the sales funnel that you can automate most of it, even just through Facebook. You can do the same thing through Instagram and Pinterest, wherever your people are hanging out. But the idea is going to be the same. You're going to start off with a simple little engagement campaign that's going to start getting people's attention. You want to build that initial touch point. You can do it for $5 a day. And if you're not able to put in $5 a day, then you're going to have to go back to do like standard organic traffic methods, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a slower process to get where you want. Then you get a lot of freebie seekers. You don't really get to control the dynamic of who's coming in. But at $5 a day, you run your engagement campaigns. You do that for 30 days. That's $150 spent. Usually within that time frame, you're going to pull up a bunch of people that you'll be able to retarget using Facebook's custom audiences and lookalike audiences. From there, you can start running a simple like 2 or 3 step funnel that is an opt-in to get like a mini little guide of what it is that you're going to sell. For mine, it'd be like the lead generation. If I can take those existing courses and I can resell them, I take whatever I have here and see what's available. Maybe I can bundle them together. Maybe I can create something around them. Maybe I can create my own exercise files that people can use to fill out while they go through the course. Like it's little things like that that we've got to allow ourselves to branch out into that deal. So that gaining traction, if we're just going to post once a week somewhere, we're not going to get the traction we want. And if we don't have the money to make that traction, that's where we got to start coming up with, like we're doing right now, a hypothetical case study of how you would help somebody if they were in this type of situation. And typically most people in any companies, any affiliate marketing, any digital marketers, MLMs, whatever, there's always like a type of avatar that you're going to be talking to, a type of avatar that you're going to be discussing that's going to allow you to step into their shoes. And I could tangent on that for hours. But the idea is engagement in there, inside of Facebook, creating a custom audience around that engagement because it walks you through how to do that, and then creating a lookalike audience around those people who are engaging on my page, on my posts, all that jazz. And while I'm doing that, I'm building a sales funnel step that has a simple opt-in page with an email. You can do phone capture if you want to start to narrow people down. And as you start seeing people traction through that, there's something that's clicking in the back of your head. Even if nobody's buying yet, you're making more progress today than you did, let's say, in the past 3 years, because there's a level of intention that needs to happen. There's a level of focus that when you start seeing some type of results, even if people are just clicking, but they're not downloading yet, in your brain, you go, okay, I can make this happen. If people are actually clicking on my ad just to engage, I can get them to click onto a website. If I can get them to get to a website, I can grab their email. If I can grab their email, I can send them a message and stay in contact with them daily, weekly, monthly, however you want to reach out to your people. Usually within a 30 to 45 day time frame, if your leads are dialed in and they get to know who you are, which they would by seeing your ads, re-engaging them with additional ads, downloading your book, whatever, or audio, whatever the freebie is, connecting via email, and looking at your sales pages that has videos of you talking or videos of the product or audio or the way you're speaking with them. Your initial touch points of getting to get people to trust you, all they got to do is just then go to the checkout. They click to buy, they get the confirmation message, and that is when you start hitting home more personal discussions with them. You start connecting with them on a greater level. And before you know it, all that time that the course has been sitting in the background, like I'm guilty of, you're starting to look at those differently going, How can I now apply those now and encourage the people I'm already existing with? That's just like one method that you could do, one take you could do on that.
And very logical too, I might add. Do have a question here from one of our listeners, and
Sure.
that is, I just purchased a chatbot program, and it's complicated, but I think it will help me. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
So that's a great question, by the way. Do we know, did they say the name of the chatbot program? Not that it matters at the end of the day, because it's all going to be the same.
No, it did. They
Okay.
did not mention that.
Perfect. So here's what it comes down to. It. Your chatbot programs, depending on which platform you're going to be using on, even if it's just your regular website, there has to be some policies and procedures that need to follow. If you're using chatbots like one like ManyChat and you're doing a pro account with them and they're working with Facebook, you got to be careful of how you're engaging with people in that way without doing like paid sponsoring messages. But the idea of your chatbot, no matter where it's going, it's your voice. So the tonality that you're going to be using, the way that you carry yourself online has to come across as you're like a virtual assistant. And there's nothing wrong with using that chatbot and saying, hey, I'm Jared's chatbot assistant. These are typical questions that Jared would ask you, so you can answer them now. If you wait to answer them later, you're still going to get the same questions. So why don't we deal with it now? Like something along those lines that do with that. As far as like the cost that goes into it, typically what I would do, and I've dealt with this a lot as a BA, one, let's talk about the vendor first before we start doing cost analysis and all that jazz. If you're already in and it's on a trial, or you got like whatever the process is, you have it for life or whatever, it's still going to be the same way you're going to be dealing with people. There is a level of automation that people are used to and they're expected, depending on the ticket offer that you have. And when I say ticket offer, it's your services, your prices, your products, whatever that you're selling. If it's under a certain amount, people will go through your chatbot and will buy without you being involved. If you start getting into the 500 plus range, even $1,000, people will be likely to spend, but they might have the questions that they want to talk with people. So the chatbot always needs to have an opportunity for people to reach out to you, even if the disclaimer is, Jared may ask you questions that the chatbot have already asked you. Are you okay with this? And the reason for that is you're getting people in the back of their mind of, before I talk to Jared, or before I talk to Tom, or before I talk to Mary, whoever you are that you're asking, they want to have this already in the back of their mind. You could also do additional pre-qualification questions if they want to talk with you. So it's almost like a pre-screen that if you're not going to charge them to speak with you, then there has to be some level that when you look over their results, and if you're not getting those, you can use like Typeform or Google Docs to look at the results you're getting. You can decide if you want to take that call. You can decide if you want to go through that. But ultimately, the chatbot is the one that has to provide a customer experience similar to somebody that would walk into a retail store. They're greeted by somebody who's friendly, who's charming, who's not trying to just sell themselves, but actually genuinely interested in who they are. If you create your chatbot like that, people remember that experience. And even if they're not ready to buy today, they will totally buy in the future.
The next one I have is I feel like the only way to resize my business, if I'm reading this correctly, is to use virtual assistants. What are your opinions on VAs, Jared?
Perfect. I have a few of my own that I like to utilize and work. I didn't start using virtual assistants until I started doing certain tasks inside my business where I'm like, I do not like this at all. I am not excited about this, whatever. So I found out creative ways to do with it. So when it comes into using the virtual assistants, it's a matter of, one, is the business revenue stream enough to support that versus if there's tasks that you actually don't need to get done. What I would do in that case is probably look at the daily tasks that I have. I would ask the ones that I like to do, the ones I don't like to do, and then ask what the highest revenue generating tasks are. If my VA is going to help me accomplish those, then I would see that as a monetary gain, even though it might cost me something to bring them out. I know some people are like, when you hit a certain price point, then that's when you start bringing in virtual assistants. If you've got the business the business revenue flow coming in that can support what they're going to do, and it adds more like scalability to what you're doing, totally bring them on. If it's just revamping and rechanging how the business structure is that you're doing, a remodel of your business, so to speak, and with everything happening in the world, it's not uncommon for that right now. It doesn't mean to jump on board and get a VA to do it. It might just be, what are we going to trim out of the business to be more focused, to be more generalized in that way. I'm not opposed to having virtual assistants as I have mine of my own, but I also realize that at some level, there's systems that can do what they do. So what I've taken from this, and I don't know if this is part of helpful with an answer, but maybe it'll open up a door to an additional thought, is that if a VA is willing to learn the technical aspects of what can be done in an online space, not just let me approve people into a group, let me make sure this email gets sent out, but if they can actually technically provide support and technically build something for a client, that opens up another avenue of a mini side of services that you can still do. Like if I still wanted to do funnel building and I have my VA do it, I would simply just educate and say, hey, Justina, let's take the next a month here. I'm going to teach you how to build these funnels we would do for our clients. We're going to add it as an additional service. You'll get a percentage cut of that, and then we'll make sure that people can do it. That's another way to get them in there. Most VAs, even though they'll have social media experience, they'll have experience managing a group on Facebook or running a page or even handling Pinterest boards, they may not always have that technical capability. So if you offer that, not only does that open up additional services for your business to help revamp and revitalize where it's going, it also gives the VA to expand their skills, and then they decide that they want to stick around with you longer, even if the price isn't always going to increase, because they know the value that you're bringing to the business place, and they want to be a part of that.
We actually could spend an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know that right now. I realize that right now, but we're not able to. And it is absolutely fantastic. I love it. But we aren't that fortunate. It's on this particular format. So, in closing, what kind of tidbits would you like to close with the audience to kind of inform them and give it a little boost, so to speak?
So and this is great. We'll do like a 2-minute deal here because it doesn't take much here. One, give yourself a pat on the back for waking up this morning. I know a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't give us like look in the mirror. And I know it seems like, very woo-woo and stuff like that, but I'm serious because the biggest thing I learned is being a business owner on my own and doing all of these things before bringing on small teams is that the only person that would push me to do more was me. So if my mind was not in it, I needed to force that. Now, there are days where you got to give yourself some grace and be like, you know what? I'm just not going to get anything done today. I don't feel it. And it's okay. It's okay to take those breaks. It doesn't mean that you're lacking in something. It doesn't mean that you're falling off the wagon. Take the time that you need to do that. Secondly, on top of that, when you reward yourself and you're being kind to yourself, remember to do the same for the people that you're working with and the sales that you're making. Because behind every sale is a person. That's on, if you haven't read the book, The 1 Minute Salesperson, get a copy of that as fast as you can. My grandfather gave me a copy, one that was like $5 at Staples years and years ago. And it completely changed where we were taking our business. When you focus on the people and you focus less on the sales, you'll find that even though the lower sales aren't being made, the higher end ones, the higher ticket ones, the ones where they want to keep coming back to you, they take care of themselves. Be gracious to yourself. And for goodness sakes, smile, enjoy life, no matter what's going on in the craziness of this world. Because if we can keep this energy, we can keep this light moving forward, it doesn't matter how bad it gets out there, because people are going to see the real people there and they're going to want to connect with you at any way that they can.
Oh, great advice. In fact, the thing that comes to mind as you're saying that is you're in the people business. You just happen to sell a product or a service. And I think if people in any business think in that terms, it's the person first, the service second. And I think that really will benefit them in the future. Jared, thank you so much for your sharing and your time and your expertise. I have truly enjoyed it myself. I don't know. I forgot to ask you, where do you live, Jared?
I'm in Womelsdorf, Pennsylvania. And I know everybody thinks I make that up. I don't. It's right outside of Hershey. It's a real place.
Okay, well, I'll give you a chocolate bar for that answer, and we'll be fine.
Absolutely, it does.
Right.
Hershey, PA does smell like chocolate. In case anybody ever really wanted to know, it really does smell like chocolate. It's divine.
Jared, thank you again, and I hope to have you on again very soon so that we can go into more detail. Thank you
It'd
so
be
much.
my pleasure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, I don't know about you guys, but that is exciting stuff. When I called him a disruptor, I think you could see what I was talking about, because he does have the detail, he has the knowledge, he has the experience, and he has a background that's different in the corporate world, and he brought it over to our space and online. Not a normal nor a common thing to happen. So I hope you'll reach out to Jared online. I did forget to ask Jared how to contact him so he can give you his service. I'm going to go back to him just briefly here. How can they contact you, Jared?
I'm back. Are we doing this again? This is great.
Yeah.
No, the best way right now is I could direct you to the funnelfixerupper.com. It's still showing like different services and all that we're doing. That will be shifting very soon, probably before the month is out, into more of where we're at. The fastest way right now is I am running a Facebook group called Funnels and Tech, where I go in there once a week live, and we talk a lot about things like these. We get into a really in-depth discussion about the marketing side of this world, about what it's like building sales funnels. So the fastest way, find me obviously on Facebook. Joining in the Funnels and Tech group, you can request to join in there. And then head over to thefunnelfixerupper.com, and then you'll find ways to contact me. I've got a few freebies you can download and start making some big progress today.
Do me a favor, Jared, if you would,
Yeah.
private message me those links, and I'll add those to the notes on this video, okay?
You got it, man.
All right. Now that we've said that, we've gone back and forth here. I know that I enjoyed it, and I'm sure that you did, and you learned a lot. And I really appreciate the knowledge that was shared today. And I hope you'll join us on the next Spotlight series. But before we end, always remember to listen, learn, and give.